Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Just a quick video, just a response or a comment about what's going on. I feel it'd almost be foolish to just keep producing videos and not address the 900-pound gorilla in the world right now, and that's obviously COVID-19. So I just wanted to make some quick comments about it and give some advice. Slinky dog. Hey, buddy boy. So first of all, let me preface this by saying I'm nobody. I am not an expert in anything, so the advice I'm going to lend, speed dog, is not medical, obviously. That's not my forte. Like everybody else, I have an opinion. You know what they say about opinions, right? First, just a quick update. We're obviously fine. Kelly and the boys and Crazy Dog here. We're all doing all right. Our sit rep for the state is here in West Virginia. We are still COVID-19 free. We do not have a confirmed case, but there's some debate about our testing processes. And of course, we're only 1.8 million people in the entire state. So that's like a third of the population of Atlanta, I believe, if my math is right. So not a whole lot of people to deal with. So we kind of joke we've been social distancing since 1863 when we became a state. So fortunately, no cases yet, but there have been a lot of local government crackdowns on schools being canceled, really trying to keep group meetings 50 or less. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So currently, our state government is suggesting that stay at home and don't travel unless you absolutely have to. And it's kind of funny for somebody to tell a homesteader to stay at home. Is kind of like throwing Briar Rabbit into the briar patch. So I'm I'm not complaining about that. Obviously, I do have a business I still run, so I have to be a part of that from time to time as well. This situation really comes down to two options. I mean, we can panic and live in a perpetual state of fear, or we can be hopefully optimistic and try to let our humanity shine for the positive. So that's kind of what I want to talk about and some practical things that we're trying to do and I think all of us can do. So we know through some of our demographic data that our channel is really made up of two people, almost 50-50. Those that are homesteading on their land and those that are yet to have their land to homestead or maybe aren't even planning to homestead. So I'm going to give some suggestions for both of those groups. So 5 things I think would be helpful in this time. So first I'd like to start with the non-homesteading group. And here's 5 things I think would be very helpful for you to consider right now. And the first is to plant a garden. Now, you may be in a situation where you have a little plot of land, a backyard, front yard that you can plant something great. That's awesome. I know some of you all are still kind of in multi-unit, multi-dwelling type apartment situation. But even if that's a pot on the front porch or the back porch or the balcony that you're planting something, now is the time to do that and get some of that experience. Learn how to grow a plant, learn how to grow a vegetable, preferably, and something that you can eat. But what a great experience. Again, if you're going down to the front yard and you're going to tear out some of your landscaping, it's a great time. Now's the time to get plants started, get seeds started, and it helps take your mind off the situation and give you some great outside time. You need that vitamin D, you need that outside time and that fresh air to really kind of put yourself at ease at a lot of reasons. Well, the second suggestion is actually one of my favorite things to do, whether there's a worldwide pandemic or not, and that's to get out in the woods. Spend time out in the woods. There's this term that's being passed around a lot now called social distancing, where we're supposed to keep our distance from one another. And if you need some alone time, unless you're in a inner city of a major metro area, you should be in a decent driving distance away from some sort of woods, even if it's just a undeveloped area in your suburban area. So take some time, go for a walk. It's amazing how therapeutic spending time in the woods can be. I love it. Try to do it as much as possible. So try that out. I think the best advice for all of us is to turn off the TV. And granted, it's okay to be informed, but 24-hour news isn't the best thing for us as a society. So take some time, turn that off, and instead of watching Netflix or binging a show on Amazon Prime, something like that, consider watching something or learning something or pick up a book that teaches you how to do something you've always wanted to do. Maybe it's a building project. Maybe it's reading some history. Maybe it's just learning how to do something new you've not done before. take this as an opportunity to challenge yourself to do that. And if those of you people that don't homeschool and having your kids at home right now is a new adjustment for you, then find something creative, crafty to do that can involve your kids. Again, as temperatures are warming up, maybe that's something you can do outside and have a little more space there, and that'll help promote sanity. I know there's tons and tons of resources right now. It's neat. If you're on social media, you see a lot of people sharing resources on learning websites, ideas to do, craft ideas, all that type of stuff. So just Google some of that and try to commit to learning something new right now. Well, there's no doubt that this outbreak is going to have significant ramifications to our economy. There's a lot of small businesses that aren't going to survive this, or they're going to accrue a lot of debt in order to survive this. So it's going to be very tough on a lot of small businesses. So when the time comes for you to make purchases that you still need to make, consider making those purchases local. Now, currently in our state, restaurants are still open, although some are just going through drive-through service or carry-out service or delivery service. But if you find yourself where you want to order a lot of food instead of preparing your own, then consider a local restaurant versus a national chain. National chain can weather this storm a whole lot more than the mom and pop restaurant down on the street corner. So consider giving them your business if indeed you're going to order delivery or you're going to go through their drive-through. If you don't have that ability, or it's not food you're looking for, it's supplies right now. As we know, there's a run on everything. For some reason, people associate COVID-19 with toilet paper. I'm not quite sure why, but instead of going into these stores and putting a strain on that, if you can't get it local, then of course there's a lot of recommendations to order that online. You've got Amazon and those type of things that you can do. If you can't support local, again, I strongly suggest supporting local first. But instead of going into these overcrowded grocery stores and areas that there's a run on product right now, don't be a part of that. Try to find those necessary supplies otherwise. And I'm not going to say whether you should be hoarding food or not. That's not for me to say. That's for you to determine in your own situation. Now, the fifth and most important suggestion is to check on your neighbors. And to check on them in the right way. Don't take all 10 of your kids over there and with little Johnny having seasonal allergies and everyone's freaking out thinking he's going to contaminate everybody. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly. Obviously, that could be just a simple phone call or a conversation from the sidewalk or the front porch, just to check on them, make sure they're okay. A lot of us take for granted the fact that we have the ability to get on a computer, order something, or drive somewhere to get something, get the supplies that we need, go through a drive-through. We take that for granted, and there's a lot of elderly around us that don't have that luxury. And a lot of them are alone and just need some company. So maybe a phone call, 5-minute phone call checking up on an elderly neighbor can go a long way. We are called to be salt and light to our brothers and sisters in the world. So it is a really good idea to have a heart for those people and to even be sacrificial to some degree in that. So find out what they need and support them if you can. So what about the fellow homesteaders that look at this situation and think, this is a cakewalk, this is no big deal, we've been preparing for something like this? Well, the first thing I'd say, and the most important, is don't gloat. If you've got enough food stores that last you for multiple years and you're stocked greater than the U.S. Army, then good for you. That's great that you've done that you've been that prepared. But now is not the time to resort to social media to tell everyone that. If you're a true prepper, you would know that that's the first thing you don't gloat about is what you have, because then people want to come get what you have. But more so from a compassion standpoint, by getting on social media and just proclaiming that you're this, you're that, who's laughing now, people thought I was weird because I homestead, ha ha ha, I don't think that really does anybody any good right now. You rolled the dice and it came up in your favor right now. Good for you, good for us homesteaders. I know that may sound a little harsh, but there's a lot of people that don't have the provision that we have and are really living in a lot of fear right now. It's not beneficial to underscore their fear by stating all the things that you are prepared for, all the things that you have resources for. So put a cork in that, if I could say that lightly. Well, for many of us, garden prep is at hand. We homesteaders are starting seeds and putting things in the greenhouse and getting ready. Um, Again, not knowing, and I don't want to, I'm not fueling any fire of anything here, but not knowing how long this is going to take, this outbreak issue is going to be. We don't know how much into the season this is going to extend. But what I would recommend for homesteaders that are usually better prepared is if you're planting your garden and you're planting, plant extra. Plant extra of any and everything that you can. Not for you to have more provision, but for you to be able to share that provision and give it away to your neighbors. Like right now where we are in zone 6, we could have lettuces going, we could have some cold weather stuff rocking. So if we plant some, we're going to plant more and share that with our neighbors and friends that don't have the resources to plant a large garden. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying that we should give everything away, anything that we have extra to give away. That's not what I'm suggesting. Some of us, and I'm included in this, we sell farm products to help subsidize what we do here on the homestead, to reinvest and to build up what we're trying to accomplish. So if you sell product, like we sell pork and we sell chicken and we sell eggs, make that available as much as possible, but do not raise your prices. Don't get accused of price gouging. Don't be in that situation. Right now in our area, there's an absolute run on eggs. You couldn't find a store-bought egg if your life depended on it here in the greater multi-county area. We have a limited supply of eggs, but we're making those available to our customers, and we're offering door delivery. Again, people are concerned and afraid of personal contact right now. So offering a porch front delivery is a great option. They can leave money on the front porch, you can leave the product there, or obviously with technology we have, they can transact with you online. So consider that. If you have the opportunity to offer discounts, by all means offer discounts. You know your community, speak with those in that area. Again, if you find elderly or those people that can't afford your pastured product or your farm-raised product, consider a discount, or maybe you've considered giving some of that away. You know your situation better, but please don't fall into that lot that are price gouging because they have a lot of resources right now and they're going to exploit this situation. Well, my fourth suggestion for homesteaders is the same for the non-homesteaders, and that's support local. As homesteaders, you may say, well, I really don't need anything, Troy. I've got it all taken care of other than the ever elusive roll of toilet paper. I have everything I need to get through this. Well, that's great. But if you have the resources, if you have the financial resources, and there is something you feel you need, please buy local. Buy local products that make sense, of course, but can just help support a local business. They're going to be going through some very hard times right now with the way the economy is going to be slowed down. So find a way that you can logically and effectively support local business. And lastly, in suggestion number 5, since a lot of us homesteaders don't have neighbors around, check on your city friends or your suburban friends. Again, we all have technology. You wouldn't be watching me if you didn't. So connect with your friends, people that you know on social media around you locally, and make sure they're okay. Again, if you have all this provision, you've been the ant and not the grasshopper in this situation, then consider sharing that provision with others. Make sure if you have the resources to meet a need that somebody has, that you're doing that. Again, let's set the example of what we expect people to be, people taking care of one another, helping out the less fortunate or the people that are not quite prepared for this. So for those of you that have stuck with me through this video to this point, I want to say thanks for hanging in there. And I don't mean for this video to sound melancholy or down. In fact, we are called to be joyful no matter what our situation is. So I want to read something to you. Some of my fellow followers of Jesus will understand this. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. There is no benefit in worry and anxiousness. Fear can consume you, and now is not a time to be fearful. It's time to be prudent, but it's not a time to be fearful. So take this opportunity to reflect on the situation, but don't let fear dominate your life. Nothing good can come from that. Well, we're going to get back into regular homesteading videos. We've got some stuff coming up about some fence work we're doing, so we'll get back onto that. I just felt I needed to address that since that's what's on everybody's mind, and like I said, I've got an opinion just like everybody else. All right, stay safe. Take care, everybody.